So apparently, Mitch Trubisky looks like a whole new player. So is it true? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you are a Bears fan, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel if you have not done so already. The season is so close, and I can't wait to obviously dive into the games, talk about and actually watch some Bears football in God knows how long. So make sure you guys are subscribed and make sure you're following me, guys, on my social media platforms. That's the best way to reach out to me. My Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Links is always down below and on the street. So a couple of things I want to talk about here. The main thing is obviously about Mitchell Trubisky, how he's been looking at training camp thus far. But I will hit on that and that quote that I just gave you that Cordarrelle Patterson had about Mitchell Trubisky. And we'll talk about that and a couple other things. Okay, so let's get into it. So who said Mitch Trubisky looks like a whole new player? Was it Matt Nagy? Was it Ryan Pace? Was it Allen Robinson? No. It was actually Cordarrelle Patterson, the new wide receiver turned running back, I guess. Again, he's been going with the running backs now instead of the wide receivers. I'll talk about this in a second. Point being is Cordarrelle Patterson talked about Mitch, basically said, and I quote, "He actually looks like a whole new player this year. I see it in his eyes and everything. He's got that fire in him." Okay? And here's the thing. I know what you guys are thinking. You're expecting me to take this quote, run away with it, and say, "I told you so. Look how Mitch looks." Nope, I'm not going to do that at all. In fact, I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm here to tell you, when you see quotes like this, don't believe anything, okay? With training camp, only believe the bad quotes, okay? Not the good ones. Because guys will only say good things about other guys, especially the teammates and the coaches. And when I say only look at the bad quotes, I don't mean that literally, but here's my thing. If I hear a coach or a player say, "Man, he looks great. This guy's phenomenal. I love how he's been playing this year, blah, blah, blah," versus another quote, which is, "Yeah, we needed him to get up to speed," or hasn't looked like, what we expected, or something along those lines where it's like, "Yeah, we want his progress to be a bit farther than it has." Like stuff like that. Because here's my thing, okay? Especially in training camp, there's a lot of coach speak. There's a lot of cliches. There's just a lot of this oh, everybody's perfect. But when you get a quote where coaches are criticizing guys, where players are criticizing other players, they're not doing that because they want to. They're doing that because they have to or they need to. So if you really are not playing well enough to where a coach says something about you, that's a problem. And when you have good things to say about you, that just means either you're doing your job. You could really be doing well, but you're just doing your job. And that's good and well and all, but it's training camp. It's basically getting a participation trophy at this point. Okay? Because we all know, especially with Mitchell Trubisky, training camp doesn't matter. Got to see it on the field. I mean, it does matter for him in terms of he needs to win the job, but it matters on the field for people to see if he is a new player, if he is a whole new player, if he's a whole new quarterback. Because here's the thing. If Mitch looks like a whole new quarterback all throughout training camp, and then it comes time for Matt Nagy to name a starter for week 1, and he says it's Nick Foles, what was the point of that? What was the point of looking like a whole new player and you still can't win the starting job? So again, I actually came on here. I wanted to make this video because I knew you guys would think that I am taking this quote and I'm running away with it, but I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm not really reading too much into it at all. It's just cliche speak from a teammate. That's it. But I am here to tell you this, okay? And I spoke about this on my live the other day. From reports that I've read, from actual reporters, Bears reporters, from everything I've gathered, Mitch Trubisky has looked good in practice. He looked better in day 2 of padded practice versus day 1. And one thing that I feel like a lot of the reporters and now the coaches are noticing is that Mitch Trubisky is just a more dynamic player. Nick Foles, it could be a more accurate, better quarterback in that sense. But Mitchell Trubisky just allows you to do way more things I mean, we're talking about, the legs. We're talking about the agility. I mean, Nick Foles is, what he is, the prototypical quarterback, right? He can't really do much with Nick Foles other than the basic things. And so why is that important? That is important because the potential is obviously more with Mitchell Trubisky, but also the point I have been hammering home this entire time is this, okay? My reasoning for Mitchell Trubisky winning the starting job is very simple. Very simple, okay? And I stand by it, by the way. So Mitchell Trubisky is going to win the starting job. The reasoning is this. Mitch should start because if Mitch struggles, I've got the perfect option to replace him with. I got the fire extinguisher that I can break into and grab in Nick Foles, right? So you put Mitch out there, and if it turns into a fire and you got to put it out, you break the glass, you bring in Nick Foles, the fire extinguisher, and you extinguish the fire, and now you are good. The house is not burning anymore, okay? You don't do it the other way, okay? You don't take the fire extinguisher and then, bring the fire back which is Mitch Trubisky, right? So you don't start Nick Foles, and then if he struggles, bring in a Mitch Trubisky who's already got low confidence, and now he's like, probably not going to play well because he's low confidence, and now you've got two bad quarterbacks. Kind of happened last year with Jacksonville, if you think about it. Remember, they signed Nick Foles to a fat contract. He gets hurt game 1. They bring in Gardner Minshew. He plays really well, but then they're like, oh, we paid Nick Foles all this money. We have to start him. So when Nick Foles is healthy, they bench Gardner Minshew when they shouldn't have. And Nick Foles comes back. He plays awful. And then they're like, oh, man, we should have never benched Gardner Minshew. We need to bench Nick Foles. Let's bench Nick Foles. So they did it too late. Bring back Gardner Minshew, and he doesn't play as well as he was doing before. So, again, there's a lot of ways to mess this up. But for the Bears, it's very simple. Very simple. It's just this. Start Mitch. If he does not play well, pull the hook, bring in Nick Foles, right? It's just much easier than the other way around, folks. And here's my thing. My whole point has always been just because I picked him to win the starting job does not mean he is guaranteed to have and keep the starting job all 16 games, right? He could literally not play well and get benched game 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And so my point is, I just feel like you got to give him the opportunity to start. And so far from training camp, I have from the reports, not from what Cordarrelle Patterson is saying, but from the reports, what I've read, I've liked what I've seen so far. Mitchell Trubisky looks like he has improved his footwork. He has improved his ball placement. He is a guy who has looked a bit more urgent, and he should. A guy who's looked like, he's way more dedicated than before, and a guy who knows he's on his last leg. So honestly, folks, to me, I'm not surprised. And back to the quote here again, I'm not taking anything from that. I'm looking at what's going on in training camp right now. So again, those are my quick thoughts on this quote unquote from Cordarrelle Patterson. But point being is, folks, don't believe all the positive quotes always. There's a lot of fluff, a lot of coach speak. Just wait for the real reports to come out and then go from there. Okay, folks? So even with Matt Nagy, I'm not listening to a word Matt Nagy's saying because he's just going to say, coach speak. And that's it. The only time I want to hear Matt Nagy is when he's announcing the start for week 1, and that's it. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.